The Nebraska Department of Motor Vehicles operates as the final administrative gate where lawful non-citizens, including parolees, asylees, refugees, and visa holders, convert federal immigration status into driving privileges. Central to this process is the complete absence of any statutory English language requirement for a standard Class O operator's license. Nebraska Revised Statutes Chapter 60 contains no provision mandating English proficiency for the written knowledge test or road skills examination in non-commercial licenses. This silence contrasts sharply with federal law, which requires full English proficiency for commercial driver's licenses under 49 CFR 391.11b. 2. The DMV Director, appointed by the Governor and delegated broad rulemaking authority under NRS 60 to 4111, has established administrative rules that permit the written knowledge test in 9 languages: English, Spanish, Arabic, Vietnamese, Somali, Sudanese, Karen, Nepali, and American Sign Language video format. Applicants who pass in any language except English receive Restriction Code 9, requiring an English reading companion in the vehicle at all times. The road skills test is conducted with only 5 standardized English commands, which a pre-approved interpreter may translate verbatim from the back seat. No live interpretation is allowed during the written portion. This accommodation framework creates a clear safety disparity. Individuals who cannot read stop, yield, do not enter, or any regulatory sign printed exclusively in English may still obtain full driving privileges subject only to a companion restriction that law enforcement rarely verifies during routine traffic stops. Nebraska roadways operate under the Federal Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which standardizes signage in English nationwide. The absence of statutory English requirements means a parolee or refugee who speaks no English can legally drive alone in practice, despite the printed restriction. DMV offices in Omaha and Lincoln routinely process non-English speaking applicants. Staff frequently rely on language line telephone interpretation or multilingual welcome tablets to direct individuals through intake, yet the testing accommodations themselves are administered without ongoing translation for the written exam and with limited, pre-approved interpretation for the road test. The result is a credentialing process that prioritizes access over independent comprehension of the English language driving environment. The practical consequences are visible daily. At any Nebraska DMV location, non-English speaking individuals line up with federal paperwork, often accompanied by interpreters or NGO representatives. Staff struggle to communicate basic instructions, where to sit, which form to complete, or how to proceed to the testing area, because no statutory mandate requires applicants to understand English. The revolving door of applicants speaking Spanish, Arabic, Somali, or other languages underscores the scale of accommodation embedded in current policy. Responsibility rests with 3 entities. The Nebraska legislature has never imposed an English proficiency mandate, delegating examination format entirely to the DMV director. The governor appoints the director and can direct policy changes through executive authority or replacement. The director alone promulgates the foreign language testing rules under Title 247 of the Nebraska Administrative Code, subject to public hearing requirements but not legislative pre-approval. Critics highlight the public safety implications. Drivers who cannot independently read regulatory signage operate on high-speed rural highways where response times are long and public transit is scarce. The companion restriction, while printed on the license, lacks practical enforcement mechanisms. Citizens who have lived in Nebraska their entire lives must demonstrate the same knowledge under identical testing protocols, yet receive no additional privileges for lifelong residency or native English fluency. The disparity extends beyond safety. A newly arrived parolee who speaks no English can obtain a Nebraska driver's license within days of presenting federal paperwork and NGO-provided address documentation. That same individual can then drive legally across the state, while a Nebraska-born citizen who fails the English written test must retake it until passing. The policy treats native fluency as irrelevant while actively accommodating those who lack it. Reform options remain straightforward. The legislature can amend NRS 60 to 484 to require the written knowledge test in English only, eliminating Restriction Code 9 and foreign language accommodations for Class O licenses. The The governor can direct the DMV director to implement English-only testing via administrative rule. The director possesses existing authority to withdraw non-English testing options through the standard rulemaking process, which requires only public notice and a hearing if requested. Nebraska citizens retain direct avenues for oversight, contact with state senators, testimony at Transportation and Telecommunications Committee hearings, and petitions for rulemaking changes to the DMV director provide established channels to demand English proficiency requirements and visible non-citizen designation on credentials. The DMV's role as the sole issuer of driving authority makes it the clearest point of leverage for restoring language standards that align with the English-only reality of Nebraska roadways. Until such changes occur, the state continues to issue driving privileges to individuals demonstrably unable to read the regulatory environment they navigate daily.